We're here back in the Fantasy Bar. 6 plays for you on Fanduel and Draftkings for week 13, including some leverage plays, some games that I am targeting, a cheap tight end play for you, a value quarterback I'm eyeing up, and a familiar beast of the week. Who are we talking about? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Week 13 edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Thank you once again for stopping by the Fantasy Bar and checking out this week's video. Before we get into the plays, a couple things. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. And make sure you're checking out scoresandodds.com/beer for everything sports betting. Tons of information over there. Link in the description of the video. Also, head over to fanduel.com/OG. Come play against Head Chopper, Notorious, and myself in a single entry season-long tournament. All the information at fanduel.com/OG. All right, let's get into the plays here for this week. Looks like a fun week of games. Thanksgiving behind us. Let's go right into it here at wide receiver with Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. I love this spot for Minnesota. I think a lot of people are going to love this spot for Alexander Mattison stepping in for Dalvin Cook. I have no issues with that Mattison play. Sites have done a good job of pricing him up, but I think we'll get some nice leverage going with the passing game here and their stud, Justin Jefferson. We're talking about a solid floor here. If you're looking at cash games, 80 or more receiving yards now in 6 of the last 8 games. We're also talking a nice tournament ceiling, 20 or more DraftKings points in 5 of those games, and had a solid game against these Detroit Lions. 124 yards on 8 targets. You go back to last year, late in the season, tore the secondary up as well. So Mattison, the guy that's going to stand out, the guy that's going to be the talk of the town. Let's not forget about solid leverage here with wide receiver Justin Jefferson. All right, let's go to the other side of that game. We're going to go to running back with Detroit with Jamal Williams. Now, not looking like DeAndre Swift going to be in that lineup, so that's going to mean good things here for Jamal Williams. Value priced across the industry, and what I love most about any Detroit running back, whether it's Swift, whether it's Williams this week, it does not matter how this game's going to go. If they're competitive, he's a big reason why on the ground in the passing game. They're playing from behind. He's going to be even more involved in that passing game. And even if they're getting blown out, we've seen this team and Dan Campbell still try to establish the run. So he will not be game scripted out of this game. And Minnesota struggling big time against running backs here recently. 6th most fantasy points allowed over the last 4 weeks. So just too good of a price here to ignore. A little correlation with our Justin Jefferson play with Jamal Williams. All right, let's go to the tight end position. Another value play standing out this week. That's Foster Moreau of the Raiders. So like we just talked about with Jamal Williams, it's next man up. Darren Waller looking doubtful to play here for the Vegas Raiders. That means Foster Moreau going to step in to that tight end 1 position here on a team that's really devoid of targets. I mean, we're already talking about losing Waller. We know about the Henry Ruggs situation. So it's really been Hunter Renfrow, a little bit of Deshaun Jackson on Thanksgiving, but Moreau could be a big part of this passing game here. Very high total in this game, and last time he was in the spot was productive. 661, caught all 6 of his targets here. This matchup sets up nicely for him here as well. Washington, bottom half of the league in receptions, receiving yards, fantasy points allowed. Just too cheap out there. Will make life easy on DraftKings at just 2,700. All right, let's stay in that game. I like this game a lot. Let's go to the other side with quarterback Taylor Heinicke of the football team. So I promised you guys a cheap quarterback play. That's what we're going to do here with Taylor Heinicke. I think he's in a great spot here. And I know it's been up and down with this guy, but we know he has the upside, which is what I want to target in tournaments. If people are scared to play this guy, we're going to get him at low ownership. Sure, the easy play is a guy like Tom Brady, some of those other guys, but I think Heinicke can do enough here to get us close to what some of the upper end quarterbacks are going to do. 5 20-point DraftKings points games so far this season. And digging around in the stats, this guy has thrived on the road. And I know it's a very small, limited sample here, but 4 of those games we're talking about where he has eclipsed 20 DraftKings points have come on the road. In fact, averaging 24 DraftKings points in those spots. And Vegas has really struggled with quarterbacks. 6th most fantasy points allowed, 7th most touchdown passes allowed. We mentioned that total pushing 50. Love this game and love this spot here for Taylor Heinicke this week against the Las Vegas Raiders. So if we like Heinicke, who we pairing him with, that's easy. Wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. So we talked about those big games that Heinicke has had. Well, guess who has been the guy that goes along with him? That's right, it's Terry McLaurin, also averaging 24 DraftKings points in those games. We know the targets are going to be there no matter what. We're talking 7 or more targets now in 10 straight games. So very rarely can we say that. Even some of the higher end receivers don't see target shares like Terry McLaurin's going to get in this offense. And Vegas, they don't only struggle against quarterbacks, it's been a struggle against receivers. In fact, bottom 10 in the league, 7th most fantasy points allowed over the last 4 weeks. Love this game, love this stack here with Taylor HEINICKE and Terry McLaurin. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for week 13. But before we do that, we want to continue our Beast of the Week contest. A thank you to you guys. All you got to do is get in the comment section right below the video and guess fantasy points for my favorite play of the week on DraftKings. The closest guess is going to win themselves a free month of RotoGrinders Premium. That's right, a chance to check everything out. Lineup HQ, Gridiron HQ, all the premium articles and videos. So without further ado, let's get to my favorite play here for week 13. You know, Mass, the Beast of the Week. All right, Beast time. We owe you one more running back, and we are going to run it back once again with Joe Mixon of the Bengals, this week's Beast of the Week. Now, Mixon been on an absolute tear here for us of late. So, as the graphic says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I love him once again here in this matchup this week against the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, touchdowns in 8 straight games, consistent as you could ask for. 6 touchdowns alone in the last 3 games. So multiple rushing touchdowns each of the last 3 weeks. We're talking 25 DraftKings points in 5 of his last 6, averaging over 28 DK points a game over that stretch. And we know the Chargers have been a mess. Most rushing yards allowed and 2nd most rushing touchdowns allowed. Only the Jets have been worse in this department. Fire up Joe Mixon again with confidence. Easily my favorite play on the board in this week's Beast of the Week. All right, guys, that wraps up here for week 13 in the Fantasy Bar talking Fanduel and DraftKings. If you guys have any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in that comment section. Don't forget, fantasy points for Joe Mixon on DraftKings for your shot at some free RotoGrinders Premium. And let me know who your favorite play of the week is. Who's your Beast of the Week? Sound off in that comment section. Also, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Check out scoresandodds.com/beard. Link in the description of the video, and head over to fanduel.com/OG to join our special single entry $7 buy-in season-long payouts. Go check it out today for RotoGrinders.com. I am Bear saying salut, guys. Thank you for watching. Best of luck here. Make sure you check out my Yahoo video for 6 more plays I am looking at. Best of luck. We'll see ya.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist